Oh, Travis, my good self. Something I wanted to discuss, having to do with the court case against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. With the impeachment, they're learning that there are Republicans who are not voting to impeach because they're afraid for their lives and the lives of their families because of the bullies that Trump has stirred up the hornet's nest of. And looking to the court case, those who are silenced seem to indicate that they're also afraid for their lives. Judge First, for example, she clearly was assigned to the case to shut down my case, as she held a hearing with just me telling me that she was going to drop my case until I dropped the bomb. The church had paid the person who indefinitely incarcerated me with the intention of having me assassinated during the incarceration. And so, yeah, that caused her to meet halfway, in that she allowed me to amend my complaint, but then did nothing thereafter until she was forced off the job because she had been fired previously to being assigned to my case. And I exposed that the reason why she was fired is because she allowed Gaddy versus COP. And so her review all of a sudden took a sharp turn with allowing of that case, as the Mormons on that committee, judicial committee, said, you know what, I think we've got some dirt on you that we dug up about a guy that you put into the drug court system, which is the proper process and procedure in such cases, because he didn't have a gun. But we're going to use it against you anyway, and you're fired. How dare you go up against the church? And so, as much as I am infuriated with her lack of loyalty of office to the end, I do understand if that is her reasoning, why she remains silent, allowing it to be taken up by somebody else after she left. And it was very clear that the person they hired to replace her was all in to do whatever it took to keep the job. And they rewarded her for her dismissing a recommendation. And so the Mormons that have been involved in my case, yeah, loyalty to the church above nation, violating their oaths of office, which is why you can't have Mormons in a position to judge the church, because they're obviously going to be conflicted and prejudiced, as is the case with all things dealing with the Mormon church. And what we're faced with here in this second lawsuit is Bennett was the one assigned to vet it, and he's a liberal Mormon, as I did my research on him. He's into environmental issues. And it took him 2 weeks to approve my case. And over that weekend, that second weekend, I started to hear Bill Barr, who's no longer the Attorney General, because even Trump got so bad that Barr couldn't even tolerate him. You know that's bad. But he started talking about prosecuting those who commit sedition. Those who protest, call them seditionists. And if you forgot, my lawsuit against the church is under RICO sedition. They only let you choose one, so I chose RICO, so that I can include anybody who helps and supports the church, not just the church leaders. Because the church leaders can say, "Oh, we had nothing to do with that. We're innocent. See our hand? Oh, they're bloody, but there's no connection." And so I knew what I was doing going in. And I know that they don't want my case to proceed because I've got the evidence. They gave it to me. The church gave me all the evidence I need against them. Because, yeah, the bombshell was one example. And then they go and try to assassinate me during the lawsuits, not just with the coronavirus. And so now, after the first judge, Mormon, recused himself. I know he's Mormon. He went to BYU. Was it Barlow? The second judge, Jenkins, the oldest on the court. And he, well, maybe among the oldest. I'm not sure about Benson and Campbell. They're pretty old too. Jenkins decided to manage the lawsuit all by himself. No magistrate judge this time. He's going to handle it. And, okay, you're still processing. 4 minutes. Okay. Guess I should put it on you since you're going to be done quicker. Got 2 videos uploading. And he decides to immediately dismiss my case, but showing how great and merciful and unbiased he is, says I can amend it. Yeah, well, screw you. You just exposed that the pro se litigant guide is unlawful. If you're not familiar with the terms, because you've never been involved in the legal system, the pro se litigant guide is for those like me who are prosecuting the case all by ourselves. And we aren't lawyers, we're just civilians. And so there's an actual manual, a guide for us to go over when filing lawsuits. And so there's a form that you gotta follow when you submit a complaint. And I did that. And yet, with the church, nope, motion to dismiss because you're following the pro se litigant guide, as they try to claim that it's no claim claim for relief. Let me get the actual title for you. Failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. And these are the counts, is what it's referring to. Those are the claims. And I have counts. They're listed according to the Pro Se Litigant Guide. They tell me, give a detailed explanation without arguing the case. Just give the facts and have the law that I'm claiming has been violated. And they're saying that, nope, it's wrong. There's no claim. I caught you in the act of paying the person who had me disappeared and trying to have me assassinated. And then after I caught you, this is the first case, after I caught the church, I then caught them trying to cover it up. And I have no claim? You, by your actions, after the fact, are confessing to guilt as you are trying to cover up the evidence against you. And so I know the church is guilty, even if the judges refuse to acknowledge it, in protecting the church over loyalty to their constitutional oaths of office. And that's exactly what Jenkins did with this second one, which was that justices also are co-conspirators with the church in threatening my life and trying to have me assassinated, as the church is from the ancient terrorist threat in early American history. And, okay, so after 20 years, Mormons grow up to become terrors is finished. Do, 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 do. Let's go to bed. That was the video I did last night after 200 years. And so I made that the theme song. MD, you didn't email me. Said you would, and then you don't. It's the deal, trying to be like a guy or a politician, making promises you don't intend to keep. And so I then, after Jenkins pulled that stunt, I then included him in the amended complaint that he ordered. It took him a little while to recuse himself, but my motion to recuse along with it got him to recuse. So there's number 2 down for the count. And then number 3 was Campbell. I couldn't believe. I mean, they claim they do it randomly. So yes, I know Campbell. He's the one that caused the escalation by dismissing my lawsuit against the church and the state of Utah way back in the day. And over destroying my life, not helping me get my kids back. And thus led to the petition that got me arrested and disappeared with indefinite incarceration and attempted assassination. And so yeah, I immediately, when I found out after midnight, because that's when the clerks started doing it, they cut it off at noon so that nobody can see anything that was filed until closing. Done purposely because they knew that I was responding immediately and paying close attention to the online docket. And so with Campbell, immediately sent it out. How's it going? You're the cause of this. Just wanted to remind you. I expect your recusal. And sure enough, he immediately recused. Free down. And that's what the court is grappling with. The whole federal court is beholden to the church, whether they're the Mormons, which dominate the justices, or they are in there because of the mercy of the church. The church is a criminal mafia gang of thugs and bullies. They're just of the old school, where they're in calm and collected and controlled, and they just make threats like Nelson did to the Salt Lake Tribune reporter, who's now in Cox's cabinet or council or committee or whatever, where Nelson says, yeah, I know her family. I know her family. She's a critic for the church at the Salt Lake Tribune. And here Nelson is getting up, knows her, knows she's a critic, and says, I know your family. So if you're unfamiliar with mafia crime organization tactics, that was a threat to her family's life. That she needed to be nice to him in the questions she asked. Or there was an implied understanding that he was going to make her family's life miserable. That's how it works. And Nelson had the gall to do it there at the public press conference. And so Judge Tina Campbell was then assigned after Campbell. And I found out about it after midnight. But she, knowing that I know after midnight and would be, I already issued I've issued a final judgment and other stuff showing that we can't go through this charade of going through each and every single justice to have them all recuse. Let's just go straight to the final judgment. I win. I prove my case. Let's move on. Let's end this. But nope, Judge Tina Campbell instead issued Order 26. Was it 434 or something, 443 or whatever that order is that had Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader go to the temple, Jedi temple, and kill all the little children, where Baby Yoda apparently was at. Somehow he didn't have the Force strong enough to know that Baby Yoda was there. Baby Yoda was so awesome. Oh, they have to keep it going. They have to bring him back. That was the best thing ever. Get the toy back in stock and quit fooling around with the price. Alright. Why Mormon men are so angry. Not why are. I already know why. That's why I did the video. And if you don't understand by the pictures I use, you're not listening to the video. So yeah, Judge Tina Campbell sanctioned me. She violated Rule 11. And that was so that she can censor me, keep me from presenting anything else to the court until she makes a decision, as she's already made a decision hastily, about the defendants. Typical. Oh yeah, motion to dismiss with prejudice because you're following the pro se litigant guide, and that's a violation of Rule 8. Oh? No. The motion of the church is their standard, hey justices, we're threatening you, don't allow this case to proceed, we're warning you, we're going to fire you like Judge First. Don't do it. And so Judge Tina Campbell has not even made a decision to say, you know what, Travis has a point. The pro se litigant guide was followed. It was approved by the magistrate judge. The church has no claim on this. Cut it out. We're going to proceed and find out if the plaintiff has actual evidence against you. Simple. Follow court procedures and processes. You know, the defendant was supposed to actually say, you know what, we plead no contest, we plead guilty, we plead not guilty, but you don't say, nope, dismiss it, we don't want to have this case proceed any further. I mean, that sort of says, we're guilty, and we want you to slap us on the wrist and move on, dismiss his claims for justice. Yeah. And so, yeah, what Judge Tina Campbell did was violate the law. She violated her oath of office. She violated my First Amendment right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Because it's not about, oh, I filed the petition, now they said no, I can't proceed. No, I need to be heard. I need to present evidence that needs to be heard, and thus go public. The Freedom of Information Act, which is how Russia has been monitoring my lawsuits. And yet she's violating the law to protect the church. And I don't understand unless she's doing what First did. Because Barr is Trump loyalist, and this involves the terrorist threat to America. This is a national security issue. And I just happen to be in the midst of it because I figured it all out. And as the church tried to have me silenced and assassinated. And so they are related. The church, their attacks on me, and what's going on in the nation. Now we'll wait until I finish. And so Judge Tina Campbell now is placed in an even more precarious position, knowing that she too is being threatened with this outstanding motion by the defense counsel that threatened her life too, because she's now the one in charge after the 3 previous recusals. And she's going on 3 months now, 3.5 months. It was October 29th. So November, December, yeah, we're going on 3 months. Nothing. Silence. And I kind of wonder, is she even getting my emails, or is she purposely ignoring them? Because I have to put the case in the subject line so that they can identify, and thus they know, oh, okay, delete, 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 or archive, or whatever they do with it. Or is she unable to do anything because she knows I won, but at the same time, is she afraid for her life? Is she afraid that if she does do what she must do because I won, that her life will then be in jeopardy? And she knows how to handle that. She then has the Utah Federal Attorney General, whatever the title is, be the one to prosecute the church for criminal activities, because that's what's involved in this civil case, is criminal exposure of the church. And so all she has to do is refer the case as a criminal case also. Judge in my favor, I then receive all the money after the seizure from the criminal case that gets filed after. But if he's a Mormon, how likely is he to prosecute the church? And then where would he prosecute them? Because the federal court already compromised. And so it would have to be at a different court, because she has to take down all her fellow justices along with them, because that's this complaint. Everybody involved in aiding and abetting the church, which is a terrorist organization, terrorist criminal organization, are complicit. And she now is complicit with her delays and silencing me and being silent herself. Because all she had to do was say, nope, motion to dismiss denied, figure out something else. You have till November 27th. Oops, she let that come and go, didn't she? I was all set. I had contacted the bank to make sure that they were going to be open, and if I could get the notary for the submission for the default judgment, and came and went again. Because that's what happened to the first one. And so I kind of wonder then if she's afraid for her life too, because she hasn't come out with an order dismissing the case like Judge Waddups did, making the excuse, oh, you brought up the evidence of the inverted pentagram on the Salt Lake Temple and on the Eagle Gate, therefore that's an ad hominem, I dismiss your case. That was, so, yeah, he got placed on the second lawsuit for that. And so here we are, the enemy is in the gates, in the Trojan horse that has been in America the whole time. And the Civil War is about to break out, which will collapse the economy, will collapse our lives, because no work, on your way to work, you have people shooting, blowing things up on your way. So yeah, there's no more work, no more economy, thus no more paychecks, no more shopping. And so all we'll be left to do is fight for survival. Or, the Exodus. I'm sort of hoping I win the lawsuit, because we could use the money to get things going, because we still have the system. But if the war breaks out, money will be worthless. So getting the church's money, trillions, multiple trillions of dollars, not needed. Because all their money is now worthless. The only thing of value for the church after that will literally be the property they own. And you notice how they've been ramping up the land ownership? Especially after the lawsuit I filed in 2019. Yeah, not a coincidence. So, I'm wondering if Judge Tina Campbell is then waiting until after the inauguration on the 20th. Oof. Because then you're going to have a new Attorney General. We will. And maybe she's hoping that she can then bring the case to him, and then he can prosecute it in another state under a Biden-friendly, non-conservative friendly judicial system, so that she can then be absolved from it, take down all of her justices in the Utah court, and we'll go through another Edmunds-Tucker Act consequences. But if we can survive till then, okay, maybe I can wait. But we still keep gathering evidence of the church's guilt, as the enemy is now declared war. And it's interesting that Congress doesn't have to actually declare war for us to actually be in a war, as Russia's been at war for us for years. And Congress refuses to declare war against Russia. They just do sanctions until Trump took over. Nobody's tougher on Russia. Putin says that he wants to take all of our intelligence agents and he'll prosecute them there in Russia. I think that's a great idea. No collusion, just conspiracy. Putin's really strong and powerful. He says he didn't do it. I believe him. Seriously? And there are still people who believe that? That there's nothing going on? Remember, Nelson also is involved with Russia, and a major city yet to be determined in Russia. And so, who's Biden's pick to be the Attorney General? Biden's pick for Attorney General. Merrick Garland, the one that cocaine Moscow Mitch McConnell, who's no longer, after the Georgia senators are put in, he's no longer the majority leader guy or whatever. And so they refused to let him be the replacement justice on the Supreme Court. and then rushed to get Amy Coney Barrett in during an election. Yeah. Isn't it interesting how they throw morals and morality at Democrats, but then they don't care to follow their own thing, and they just laugh and go, ah ha ha, we tricked you. You guys are suckers and losers. But yeah, he's now going to be the judge of all the Republicans who denied him becoming a Supreme Court justice. Because they're not just taking out Trump, they're going for the full Monty. They're shooting the moon. And yeah, we're going to see a major purge in the Republican Party if they can pull it off, if this war is suppressed. And that's what I think Justice Campbell is also thinking, is that if she just waits until the new Attorney General, Merrick Garland, that it will be in his hands, and so that she can then breathe a sigh of relief. So let's check LDS Church. Okay, he's a religious person. What? After the Interior Department refused to allow her... No, he's talking about Merrick Garland. So is that your wife? It's Harvard. What happened with Merrick Garland in 2016? Yeah, I'm not seeing a connection to the church. Wait a minute. Merrick Garland is Jewish. Oh. Wait a minute. LDS Church leader Thomas S. Monson opts out of Obama. President Barack Obama meeting with leaders of the church. Yeah, I remember that. He claimed to be sick, and he was racist. He didn't want to meet with Obama. I don't even think they bothered to give Obama his genealogy. And it's tough because my slave ancestry sort of stops in America as being slaves. So it required 23andMe, not Ancestry.com, to inform me that I have markers. They're not on my matriarchal or patriarchal lineage. That's the only thing DNA can identify. But they did recognize markers coming from West Africa. So that's where they're from. But Biden taps Merrick Garland as Attorney General. Okay, this is 2015. Interesting. So he's been an Attorney General before. Okay. Yep, there it is. So they had, there's Irene, who's sitting the closest to him. I guess he's the least of the homophobes. And then Hansen, I think he is. It could be Uchtdorf, because he's in the first presidency then. And then Nelson boots him out to put Oakes, who was called in the same conference as Nelson. And Oakes had to finish off being a Supreme Court justice for Utah. And there's I don't think that's Perry. Is that Perry? I think that's Perry. I'm looking from the backside, but what I do see looks like Perry. But yeah, if you saw the initial press conference or the initial news conference before the press conference, you can see Uchtdorf. He's sitting with the 12, and he's the grumpy one. Just hilarious. Okay, there's the presiding bishop at that time. Burton, no, not Burton. I can't remember his name. There's Orrin Hatch. No, that's right. If that's Orrin Hatch, that's the state legislator. Yeah, he's the House of Representatives for the nation from Utah. That's who he is. Yeah, he's not mine, but, yeah. With one notable exception. According to church spokesman, opted out of the meeting to preserve his strength. Is that code for I'm racist? And I'm likely to ask for his birth certificate? Where's Merrick Garland? I don't see anything on Merrick Garland here. So why did they have it in the thing? What the hell? It's not even in the recent posts. Is it? Yeah, it's not in the recent posts. Well, that's probably where it comes from. See, 2015, he was still 3 years away from dying. Yes, he was having trouble with his memory because, you know, he had, I don't think it was Alzheimer's, but he was having dementia type problems. And, okay, so MD, you getting a pass. You emailed back, or you commented back rather than emailed. I was looking for your email this morning and it wasn't there. And somebody new has shown up on Secret Latter-day's Book of Mormon Code condemning Mormons. Do you have any evidence? Oh man, what a loser. Sucker and loser. Evidence. Do you have any evidence that Joseph didn't see Heavenly Father in Jesus? Do you not understand? I can't proceed with a lawsuit unless there is sufficient evidence in my complaints referred to. I have the evidence. It's stated. And so their motion to dismiss from the defense is done purposely to prevent that evidence from being presented in court. Unbelievable. So, yes, Heber Frank. Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping, is that Judge Tina Campbell is waiting for the Merrick Garland to be sworn in and then handing it over to him then, because this is a big issue. This is going to take down all insurrectionists, and it will include all Mormons in positions of power along with the church. So you're going to see a clean swipe of the Utah government, state and federal levels. The justice system will be cleaned out. The state legislature, Governor Cox, Lieutenant Governor, all gone. What a beautiful day that would be. Imagine there's no government, in the state of Utah. Imagine no more Mormons, no more crime and sorrow. But this is what you get for following Brigham Young rather than Joseph Smith. So, yeah, he's calling it a gift rather than keys. Isn't that interesting? So let's finish this video off with a comment reply to Heber, because he's going to get banned. So here you go. Do you have any evidence that the gift restored to earth again after the long famine for the word, to receive word of the Lord, oracle, revelations, has remained on the earth? What? Man, that was worded real weird, Frank Heber. Let me read that again, try to figure out if I can understand it. Maybe you guys understood it. I don't understand it. I'm seeing Amos referring to the famine for the word prophecy. But that's right now. When Joseph Smith was murdered, that's when the famine began? Do you have any evidence that the gift restored to earth again? What gift? He's not talking about the gift. After the long famine for the word, to receive word of the Lord, oracle I think he's supposed to put Lord's oracle revelations, has remained on the earth. Is it on the earth or is it not on the earth? Or was the gift taken away from the earth? So now you're asking an actual question. Maybe you're legitimate. Or was the gift taken away from the earth after Joseph Smith, or after some other early Mormon prophet? Okay, so it looks like he's legitimate. He's not banned after all. I actually do get to comment to him. I'm not quite sure of that first sentence though. But the second one helped clarify that he's actually sincere in asking. There are many spiritual gifts. They all have value. I am only talking about the gift to receive revelations, like those in Doctrine and Covenants. Yeah, 43 is what you're referring to. Only the president of the church can receive revelations for the church. Not Oaks. Not a group joint decision by all the prophets, as Oaks also then said. Nope. 43. Only the president of the church. Nobody else. Everybody else must be quoting the president of the church. Similar to the hear me thing they tried last year, when they all exposed themselves as not actually listening. Alright, so yeah, I'll reply to him after I end this video here. I'll go over section 43, only the president of the church. Joseph Smith was assassinated, thus that needed the Melchizedek priesthood according to 107:22 was therefore required to vote for the next presidency. They didn't do that, and so thus a famine has yet again begun. So that's what I'll be putting in there. Alrighty, we're done. And I'll deal with you personally, MD.